Good evening. I hope I'm on YouTube. I don't know if I am, but we'll find out real quick. Hey, Theme Park Days. How are you, my friend? I'm doing good here. Now, are you looking at me on StreamYard or are you looking at me on YouTube? Because I can't tell if it's showing me on YouTube or not. Okay, very good, very good. I'm playing with this program here. I want to see if I can show, let's see, application window, your entire screen, Chrome tab, application window. Okay. Now I got to go back here and get my home page. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see how this works. Well, I don't think it's going to work. Come on, open up. Okay, now let me get back here and see if that's. Oh, I want to get back to StreamYard. This one I want to get back to. Well, that's not working right. Hang on just a minute and I'll be back. I think. Good evening, Brandon. I'll be back with you folks in a second. Good evening, Bonnie. I'm trying to pull up a program here so that I can show a presentation about Moringa. And I'm not sure that I know how to do that. Choose what I like to share. I want to share an application window, but it's not coming up. Okay. If you bear with me, folks, this will be well worth the wait. I just got to figure out how to do this. Share an application window. Oh, this ain't right. Show my desktop. Open this presentation. Okay. Now, is that considered a tab? Okay, let me click here. But I can't tell if it's sharing that or not. I don't think it is. Let me cancel this. Okay. And we'll try this. No. Try that. No. Try that. No. Try this. Okay. Application. There we go. Share. Okay, but it's too small. Okay, maybe that'll work. Theme Park Days, Bonnie, they're over in the UK, and it's a family that goes around to different theme parks and rides the roller coasters. And they're cool. They got a lot of neat videos. Okay. Now, Bonnie, is that screen big enough that you can read it? Let me see. Well, you're quite welcome, Lynn. Okay. Let me see if and how I can make that screen bigger. Okay, is there a way to cut this off on this side? No. Okay. There we go. It's said that Moringa tree originated in northern India. Records show Moringa being used in India some 5,000 years ago. And I'm just waiting for it to turn the page. I don't know how I went from page 1 to page 4, but I did. So I missed something here along the way. Oh, this could take forever. Okay. In ancient times, Moringa was known and used in traditional societies around the world. This was long before people had the tools of instant communications that we have today. Some people must have discovered Moringa independently in all of these places, and they all found great value in it. This fact alone suggests that Moringa is worth investigating. And I went from page 4 to page 6. What's going on here? Oh, okay. This is a list of part of the diseases that Moringa will cure. People in these societies discovered a vast array of uses for Moringa. This knowledge existed in many different parts of the world: Africa, Latin America, South America, India, and Indonesia, and many island nations. And let's see, we're looking here specifically for multiple sclerosis. And I don't think I see it here any place. Conjunctivitis, that sounds like something mean. Intestinal worms. Huh, that don't sound much better. Okay, well, we'll move on to another page. Today, scientists are beginning to investigate the traditional claims about Moringa. Let's take a look at what they have found. Nutritional value. One aspect that scientists have examined is the nutritional value of Moringa leaves. Moringa has 7 times the vitamin C of oranges, 4 times the vitamin A of carrots, 4 times the calcium of milk, 3 times the potassium of bananas, 2 times the protein of yogurt. Let's see, it has vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, vitamin C, calcium, chromium, copper, iron, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, potassium, protein, and zinc. I could use that for fertilizer in my garden. And don't laugh, that's what they actually use it for in some of these foreign countries. Moringa leaves contain all the essential amino acids to build strong, healthy bodies. Moringa even contains arginine, or whatever, 2 amino acids, especially important to infants. Vitamin A, carrots have 1.8 milligrams per what? Okay, where the dried Moringa leaves have 8.9 milligrams. Vitamin C, oranges have 30 milligrams. The fresh leaves of Moringa have 220 milligrams, and the dried leaves have 173 milligrams. The calcium, milk has 120 milligrams, fresh leaves has 440, and dried leaves have 2,300 milligrams of calcium. And then it goes on down through. Common names for moringa. There's every different country has a different name. Let's see. Lamu is from Taiwan. I'm looking for China here, but I don't see it. I believe it's also called Lamu in China. Okay. You can see the countries in red that have the most malnutrition in the world. And if you look down at the second one that says Moringa, you're looking at the countries in green that are places where Moringa grows. So it's really interesting that Moringa grows in the countries where they have lots of malnutrition, and that's really interesting. And here is a list of different possibilities, and I'm not going to read them all. Moringa's potential. Moringa holds tremendous potential for serving the world in several ways: human health, livestock fodder, plant growth enhancer, and biogas. Yes, they can make gasoline out of moringa oil. Human health. Test in Seagal, conducted by Mr. Lowell Fooley. He's the Church World Service in Dakar. Alternative action for African development. Tests in Seagull. Children maintained or increased weight and improved health. Pregnant women recovered from anemia and had babies with higher birth weights. Research in Nicaragua. Intensive cultivation. Now look at that moringa tree. That's normally moringa grows in typical form of a tree like this. And that tree has to be years and years old. And there's another one. That tree is typical of the way they grow, like down in Florida and California and Arizona. Humongous tree. They've shown that moringa trees can be planted very close together as a field crop, and its space is as close as 10 to 15 centimeters. And there's a guy walking through his moringa garden, and he's able to harvest the leaves every 75 days. He gets 100 tons of green matter per hectare. I guess that's like an acre. Okay, livestock fodder. Increases in daily weight gain up to 32%. Increased milk production from 43 to 65% when feeding it to your animals. Plant growth enhancer. Extract juice from the green matter, dilute with 36 parts water, and spray 25 milliliters on each plant. And that's for a foliar spray for growth. And they're using it here on vegetable crops, spraying it on them for fertilizer. And again, large-scale farming. Effects of the spray. It accelerates the growth of young plants. Plants are firmer and more resistant to pests and diseases. They have a longer lifespan. They have heavier roots, stems, and leaves. And they produce more fruit. And they produce larger fruit. and increases the yield 20 to 35%. Okay, you can see the bell pepper on the left was sprayed with Moringa foliar spray, and the one on the right was not sprayed with the spray. So you can see the difference in growth from the vegetables there. Sugarcane roots, the ones on the left were sprayed with Moringa foliar spray, and the ones on the right were not. So you can see the difference in the root growth. Sorghum, the one on the left was sprayed, the one on the right was not. Freeze-dried spray, control spray and spray. If you look at the ones on the right, they're at least twice as big as the ones on the far left that were freeze-dry sprayed, and the control in the middle, which was not sprayed. Biogas. Okay, more than 4,400 cubic meters of methane could be produced per hectare of Moringa per year. Human health, livestock fodder, plant growth enhancer, and biogas are need for studies. How to help. Share the information with key decision makers in your country. Promote field studies and clinical studies in your country. Share your findings with the rest of the world. And that comes from the tfljournal.org is where you can find all that information. Okay, last page. These are the references if anybody wants to Google any of these. I'll leave that up and you can make notes about it and share it out. Let's see. I hope you folks can see it. Okay, now I'm looking back at my I'm looking back at my chat text over here. And the last text I have is from Brandon Rogers. And no, I didn't put that presentation together. I downloaded that presentation from, I don't remember what the site was. I'd have to go back, pop back in that screen and look at it. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask any questions you've got about Moringa, any comments you've got about it. I mean, have you tried it? Has it worked for you? It worked for me. I'm not a doctor. I'm just here to share information that I have learned from others and from my own experience using Moringa. Lucy, stop. Hey, Daddy said stop. I'm going to beat you. Don't do that. Stop. I wouldn't really beat her. I saw another dog just like her today at Lowe's. This man and his wife had it on a leash walking around. And I stopped and talked with them about it for a couple minutes. And theirs has the same temperament that mine does. Now, does anybody need me to go back to any particular page in the presentation? Oh, good night, theme park days. Well, thank you, Bonnie. I've got several more. I've got loads of videos. Some of them are. I don't know if you folks could read that text on the screen, because to me, sitting right here, it looks awful small. But most of the videos that I have are in foreign language, like Hindi or something like that. Let me flip back here a second, Bonnie. Now how do I get back there? Oh, go right here and go back 2 pages, I think it is. Okay, that's the Trees for Life journal. Let me see if I can make this full screen. Can I? There's magnifier. No, it's not a magnifier. Okay. Let me see what will this do? Oh, I see. 100%. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. www.tfljournal.org. That's where the actual presentation came from. And it's on their YouTube page as a, or it's on their web page as a free download. Okay, let me go back here. So all credit is given to the tfljournal.org for that presentation. I don't even know where they're located. I don't know if they're in the United States or in India or wherever the case may be. They could be in Africa, because the 2 towns that they were showing the different uses of it, one was in Senegal, and I don't remember where the other one was. And I'm going to go back there to page 1. Can I? Yeah, here we go. I'll get back to page 1 in case Matt and his wife come on, and I can show them what it's all about. Okay. All right. Well, you're quite welcome, Bonnie. I hope I didn't get on too late for Matt and his wife. Matt just lives a couple miles from me, and my daughter just introduced him to me last night. I gave him a couple trees. His wife has multiple sclerosis, and they're kind of concerned as to whether this might help. So I'm going to provide them with all the Moringa trees and powder they can use, and we'll just see if it might help her out. And how's Bonnie doing today? I think I'm going to use, whenever I come on from now on, I'm going to use this StreamYard program because this is neat. You can show different things. I could show videos on here. In fact, let me go load a video into it. If I can remember how to get to it. Tools. Home. Files, my computer. Desktop and flash. I don't have a flash drive in there. Okay. Moringa file folder. Let's take a look at that. Huh, that's interesting. Plants? No, that's the other computer. Desktop. Home group. Let me see if it's in there. Nope, that ain't it. Well, folks, document cloud, add an account, start scans, tools, no, home. Well, I will well, good evening, the Woods family. Woods Family Homestead. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ken. I'm here at Garvin Gardens in upstate South Carolina. I'm doing great, Bonnie. Well, Brandon, you're going to have some swelling in there. It could be, it could be a month or so. When people have their teeth out, the doctor usually doesn't give them false teeth for 6 months, waiting for the swelling to go down. And that's not saying that yours is going to be swelled up for 6 months, but just give it time. I mean, if you hit your hand with a hammer as hard as you could, it would take it a while to heal. And I have seen videos where they've actually hit people's teeth with hammers to get them out of weird places. So, uh, they just about turn your mouth inside out when they're operating on you. So give it a little bit of a chance there, Brandon. And Woods family, what state are you located in? Woods family homestead. I don't know. This seems awful slow. I don't know if there's a bad lag here or what. Probably is, because it's going to StreamYard, then to YouTube. So when you people reply to me, it has to go to YouTube and then to StreamYard and then to me. So I'm sure there's a little bit of lag there somewhere. It seems awful slow tonight. It was a day or two ago, Bonnie, when he had his teeth out. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. Yes, Bonnie, you're here. I don't know what's going on here, Bonnie, but nobody's answering. And I think you're the only one that's watching. It says I only got one viewer. Yeah. I don't know if being on StreamYard is screwing up YouTube video or not. I mean, as far as, are there people on YouTube that are texting me that I'm not seeing? Are you on YouTube, Bonnie? Or did you come right straight to StreamYard? You show 3 thumbs up. Okay. You're on YouTube. Okay. Are you getting into some kind of trouble or something? Mommy keep chasing you in here. Huh? You're a devil. Bonnie struts. Strutting out to get more coffee or Moringa tea. Here's my Moringa tea over here. And here's my coffee over here. Okay, very good, Bonnie. Yeah, my daughter just got unlimited data on her cell phone. Where she lives, she can't get the internet. I mean, they don't even get sunlight most days where she lives. And her friend Matt, that was chatting with me last night, he lives someplace around here. Uh, you can leave for Montana soon. What are you just going on vacation, or do you have family up that way, Bonnie? Well, thank you, Bonnie. She's a nice girl, and my son's a nice young man. She puts him in jail, and he keeps him there. Okay, very good, Bonnie. Well, don't forget to take your skis and your snowshoes because it snows in Montana, and when it snows in Montana, it snows. So keep that in mind. My son is a supervisor at a federal prison here in South Carolina. Oh yes, Bonnie. Yeah, we believe in law and order, and we're into several different aspects of the law. Um, Things that I can't and won't talk about on on YouTube anyway. You know, it's strange when it's strange how you can influence children when they're young. You know, teach them respect for their elders and respect for the rule of law, and you never know what they're going to turn out to be when they grow up. My son never wanted to be a firefighter. I was a firefighter in New York, and he don't never want to do that. We think it's ridiculous. I mean, we know exactly what will happen closing police departments. I mean, that's when all heck is going to break loose. There's not going to be anybody to enforce any laws unless it's neighborhood vigilantes. And that's probably what will happen, you know. Get one or two former or present militia people in the neighborhood, and they'll, I know they'll make mistakes. Yes. Anarchy and chaos. That's all it's going to be. Of course, we honestly don't think that that will ever happen. At least we're hoping it never will happen. Um, if they do that, then we'll know this country is in big trouble. It's just another one of AOC's brilliant ideas. You know, like AOC says, we can do away with airplanes and ships and trains and boats and planes and build an interstate to Hawaii. Huh. How intelligent does that sound? Evidently, she's never been on an airplane going to Hawaii. Well, community-based police departments, if they were authorized to, uh, if they had, yes, Brandon, it's all well with me. If they had police powers, authority to arrest people and stuff like this. But then once they arrest them, where do they take them? You know, I mean, you can't just walk down the street and grab somebody and take them to the jail and say, book them, Daniel. Okay, very good. On resting and recovering, Brandon. You need to be taking Moringa for that swelling. Get rid of that inflammation in your jaw. I'm not a doctor. I never played one in a Civil War movie either. There you go, Bonnie. There you go. You know, mothers should be, what do they call it? Meritoriously promoted to doctors for all the stuff they have to do. How many, how many times does a mother treat their child through measles, mumps, chickenpox, poison ivy, poison oak, bee stings?
Husbands.
Barb said husbands. Falling down the stairs, falling off their bicycle, falling out of a swing. I mean, mom's a first responder and things like that. And they should be praised for all that they do. I'll tell you something that's interesting. Back about a year or so ago, I used to have my police scanner going all the time. Well, congratulations on 5-time grandmother there, Bonnie. Great grandmother. Wow. Okay. Grandmother of 21, soon to be 22. No, I was doing something here in the grow room, and I had my police scanner on, and it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear this deputy call into dispatch and say he needed the fire department because he was at a house fire out on one of the country roads, and he had gone in the house and brought 2 women out of the house, saved their lives. And he was on his way back in the house to get their dog. Everything worked out fine. But there's never one mention, about his heroism, his concern for humans, for human lives, or nothing. I mean, they didn't even tell it on the TV news. And I thought to myself, that's really great. Somebody does something good, and they don't tell you anything about it. But let somebody get a parking ticket that is a mayor of a city or something, and everybody in the county is going to know about it. And while we're on the subject of rotten onions, no, I want to show you how you can tell if an onion is ready to be harvested or not. Let me stand up here for a second. Okay, you got a big old onion here growing in your garden, and this is how you can tell if they're ready to harvest or not. If your onion looks like this in the garden, then it's ready to harvest. And we've had this one out of the garden for probably 3 days. But what you do with it is you don't wash it, you don't do nothing to it, except you take it and lay it out and let it dry. And it takes a couple of weeks sometimes. Um, and when it gets all dried out, this outside peeling will be brownish color. And then you clip the top off, you clip the roots off, and you check if there's any green up here. Then you let it dry out for about another week, because that means there's still juice in it. But see, this one's stiff and hard, and then afterwards you just put it in like an onion sack or something like that, and hang it up and keep it until you're ready for it. When you're ready for it, then you peel off the brown outside, which is going to be like paper, like brown paper. But that's how you can tell when your onions are ready to harvest, when they do this in your garden. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Now I'll throw it back over here. I've got it on my Moringa leaf drying rack, which is a window screen. I got the ceiling fan going for air circulation so that it doesn't get any mold or rot or anything like that. Did you check into the pokeweed, Bonnie? Did you Google that by any chance and find out anything about it? I got some bigger ones than that out there, Bonnie. I've got about maybe 1 or 2 dozen onions growing out there. And I didn't put them all in the same row. I just stuck them periodically around the garden. And you do the same thing with garlic, and that keeps the rabbits and stuff like that out of your garden, because it confuses them. They don't like the smell of onions or garlic. And it confuses them, and they can't tell which plant is the garlic or the onion or tomato plant or anything like that, so they just go away. Oh, that's okay, Bonnie. I just didn't know if you had checked on it or not. And if you want to help keep bugs out of your garden, you plant moringa trees all around, because moringa trees, they put out a scent that bugs don't like, and they won't come around them. Now, you may get 1 or 2 ants, that are taking aphids up your moringa trees, but you can get rid of them real quick too. If you take equal parts of borax, just the regular borax that you buy in the grocery store to put in your laundry and stuff like this, and equal parts of borax and sugar, and put them in a blender, and puree it so that it's all equal sized pieces, and just sprinkle that around wherever you see ants. Then the ants will go and they will eat the pieces of that sugar, and those pieces of sugar will have borax on them, and it makes them explode, and they carry it down to the queen bee or the queen ant, and it'll kill the queen and the hive's gone. And what we do about the fire ants is we'll go out and we'll take a stick and we'll stick the stick in the mound and twist it around a little bit to get the ants all stirred up. And then we'll put a couple spoons of that borax or sugar on top of the pile where the ants are all running around, and they'll grab some of it and take it back down in the hive with them. And it's perfectly safe because you can use borax for washing your dishes with and clothes and stuff like that. Okay, very good, Bonnie. Well, we do. I mean, it's like it's like a battle here in the neighborhood because you get a couple ant hills in your yard, and you stick a hose down the hole and fill it full of water. They run over to your neighbor's house, and it's a battle to see who can keep them out of their yard the longest, because they'll run back and forth from your neighbor's house to your house. And the squash bug, the one that goes up inside the vine borer, what they call it, the way to get rid of those is you dig down a little bit on your stem, like maybe a 1/4 inch or something like that, and wrap aluminum foil around the trunk of your plant. Probably 3 or 4 inches of aluminum foil, and they can't get to your plant then. Oh yeah, yeah, but you don't want to do that around your garden, because your plants will take up whatever you put in the ground, and if it doesn't kill them, it might kill you. Now, gasoline is good for yellow jackets because the fumes from the gasoline kill yellow jackets. And you find a yellow jacket's nest in your yard, you wait until the sun goes down, and all the yellow jackets will be down in the hole. They don't come out and fly around at night until you pour gasoline in the hole. Raccoons got your squash. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Adrian. Art by Adrian. That's art. That's Paul and Adrian's YouTube channel. That's Adrian's YouTube channel, Art by Adrian. But they've got a fantastic YouTube channel with all of the latest updates on national news and foreign news and stuff like that. And let me see here. Oh, that ain't what I want to do. Well, Bonnie, I'm trying to make her a monitor. Could you, since you're still in YouTube, Bonnie, can you go in and make her a moderator? I can't do it while I'm here on StreamYard. You don't have yellow jackets either. I'm moving down there for sure. Now, Adrian might already be a moderator. I'm not sure. Oh, now come on. What in the heck is YouTube doing now? See, they don't want anybody to tell the truth about anything. Okay, very good. I just wanted to make sure, Adrian. And you are his backup channel, correct? Bonnie, my neighbor has a banana tree in his yard. And it's been in his yard for 3 years. And finally, this year, it started producing bananas. Okay, I think I saw that video. Is that the one with the young girl and the young guy doing the news? Okay, very good. Well, congratulations on being monetized. Okay, very good, Adrian, on the featured channels page. And none of us like censorship, Bonnie. Um, and Trump is trying to take care of that too. I mean, if the Democrats can get out there and they can show a congressional impeachment full of lies all day long for 5 or 6 days, why don't they censor that? Ah, because they're Democrats. And see, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about censorship or anything like that because nobody watches my videos. Okay, a day video. You know, censorship is what got COVID-19 spread all over the world. With censorship, the doctors that were trying to be honest and tell everybody about the COVID-19 virus and all this stuff, and the Chinese government. I mean, a lot of those guys, there was like 6 or 8 people, and they've all come up missing or found dead. That's what censorship can do for you. Yes, please. And, you know, if you think about it for a minute, America's only been around here for 200 years, you know. Um, and, you know, we have the world's top technology and all this stuff. I mean, aside from the countries that have been stealing it from us. But then you have countries like Africa, India, China. Well, China's up where we are. That's right, Adrian. That's right. It's only wrong if they don't agree with you. Um, doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. You know, it doesn't matter whether you committed the offense. It's how how bad the offense was. That's right, Bonnie. And he was one of the guys who was trying to tell the world how bad it was and what was going on. But you know, of all the people I've talked to all over the country, nobody seems to know anybody that died of the COVID virus. I mean, you hear, like they say there's 130 people in my county that have the COVID virus, and how many of them, 19 of them have died, something like that. But nobody in the county knows who they are. And there haven't been any funerals around here recently either.
262 now.
There's 262 now, Barb says. But nobody seems to know anybody that had the virus and died. But we do know one lady that had a heart attack and died, and they put on her death certificate that she had COVID-19 virus. There was a kid in New York City. He was shot 3 times in the chest and died. And they put him down as a COVID-19 victim.
They said there was a 22-year-old kid in Greenville that was at EMT that died from it.
And, the reason I can remember back when they come out and said, when someone dies, you put down that they got the COVID virus, because the hospitals can get $13,000 per COVID death. But if somebody gets killed in a car accident, they get a steering wheel through their forehead or something like that. They don't get $13,000 from the government for that. But if they say they had COVID-19, they get it. Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to, I don't know, you have to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. Well, that's what they say. There's a nurse. I didn't know she was a nurse. When they first come out and closed everything down and said, don't go around other people, stay in your house and all this stuff, I was cutting grass over at the church. And this lady come over with her 2 or 3 children and a couple other neighbors, and they're playing basketball. And I said, I'd stopped them and I said, hey, let me ask you a question. And one of the little kids said, what? And I said, do you know what death means? What do you mean death? And I said, well, like a car runs over your dog and kills it. That's death. The dog's dead. Is there anybody that doesn't understand what that means? And the lady says, what? What are you talking about? And I said, well, we've been told don't come out and gather around and stuff like this and subject each other to the virus and stuff. She says, I'm a nurse. That only happens to old people. And then there was like a 9-year-old kid that died of COVID virus. And I just had to go ask her about it. And she didn't have any comment. She just turned around and walked away. That's true, Bonnie. I don't want to be one of those sick old people either. I'm already one of those old people. I don't want to be a sick one. That's for sure. I mean, I've got too much work to do to die. I just hope the Lord lets me live until I get my garden harvested at least, and straighten it up a little bit so it looks a little bit more presentable when I show a video of it. But I tell you, you go to Paul and Adrian's channel, and you will definitely get the up-to-date information on what's going on around the world, and in regards to COVID and food shortage and government and stuff like that. I mean, well, good evening. Welcome to the end of the world. We agree with you 100%. Like Paul said, I believe it was Paul on his channel, was talking about uh, it's it's a fake virus. Well, I don't get into politics as far as Masons and all this stuff. Um, people are dying from it. No, we're told people are dying from it. I mean, people die from car accidents, Bonnie. Um, hit and run drivers, suicides. I mean, look at all the suicides that have happened since they've shut down all the restaurants and stores and businesses and stuff like this. Um, are they adding those deaths to the COVID virus list? I mean, COVID virus caused them to commit suicide. Hey, Jessica, how are you, my friend? Yes, that's correct. It's something to scare the population so that the government can come out with a solution to that problem. And then we say, hey, thank you, Democrats. You kept us in our house so we wouldn't spread the virus or get the virus. And now you've come out with a vaccine. I better stop this before YouTube shuts me off. I'm doing fine, Jessica. That's right, end of the world. It has to be injected into you. And they say, now I don't remember what YouTube channel I saw, or news, or doctor, or what it was, but yeah, that's right, end of the world. That's what they've been doing. They add it to the CV list because they get $13,000 for every CV victim they have from the government. Now, we just had a hospital shut down because they weren't making any money because they laid everybody off. And they said the only thing we have open in our hospital is the emergency room, period. Nothing else, the emergency room. Yeah. Well, they say that if you have ever had a flu shot, you will test positive for the coronavirus. I don't know how true that is. Because supposedly all viruses are coronaviruses. Oh, yes, they'll do that. They'll do that in a heartbeat, end of the world. Because you're showing the truth. Yeah, and you know, they take and they stick a swab up your nose. Who's to say that swab is not already contaminated with the coronavirus? I mean, that's one way to inject it in you. Oh yeah, well, they're coming out now saying that more people have it than they thought had it because more people are testing positive for it. That's because they're testing more people, and they want the kids to go back to school, and um, they want the kids tested once a week for the coronavirus. That's right, Bonnie. That's right. The swabs you got from China were infected. So how many people that did not have it got injected with it from those swabs? Yep. They keep flip-flopping. I mean, one time they say you have to wear a mask, and then they come out and say don't wear your mask. And now they're coming back out and saying you got to wear the mask. Now, I don't have to wear anything. That I don't know about them setting it loose, Jess, but I do know you want to use it to control the people with to see how much they can get away with. And if they can get away with that, then they can do away with the police departments. And, why don't, if they're going to do away with the police departments, why not do away with the fire department? I mean, what do you do if somebody's breaking in your front door at 2 o'clock in the morning? Who do you call? Who's the first person you call? A man with a gun, okay? Because you don't own one, so you call a man that has one. Well, if you're in a big city like Atlanta, he could be way on the other side of Atlanta, and it might take him 20 minutes to get to your house. Like they say, when seconds count, police are only minutes away. Oh, I'm not going to wear a mask either. I wore a mask too much in the military. I'm not going to wear one out on the streets. Oh, yeah, you'll see that all around the place. But I can remember back in 1970, I was in Japan. I was there for a year. And you walk around in Japan, you see people wearing those masks all the time. I mean, for them, it's normal, like the little old granny or old grandpa walking down the street in the middle of town. He's wearing a mask. Well, I agree with you there, J-Dub. Yeah, probably, because there was no COVID-19 virus in 1970. Well, back in 1960s, um, there were people walking around in Washington, D.C. and Chicago, Grant Park, um, all these places with signs saying the end is near, the end is near. I mean, all the hippies, they all had signs saying the end is near, the end is near. Well, that was what, 40, 50 years ago? And the end is still near. I mean, the end is closer now than it was 2,000 years ago. So the end is near. Because they don't make any money off it, Jess. I mean, look at all the money these companies are making with selling these masks. 100,000 paper gowns a day that are thousands upon thousands of these gowns that the doctors and nurses are wearing in the hospitals. The manufacturers are making big money off that, and I can guarantee you, because the government doesn't pay low dollar for anything. I mean, when they'll pay $300 for a toilet seat, they'll pay any amount of money for anything. $600 for a hammer. Just a regular hammer that you can go down to Lowe's and get for $12. Yep, that's what's happening on the streets right now, Jess. So do I. But not to change the subject, but I want to get back to uh, what we were talking about earlier, my garden. You know, how you can tell when your onions are ready to harvest. Um, when your onion sits in the garden and it looks like this, that means it's ready to harvest. When these top, you want to call them leaves, when they just voluntarily fall over like that, not from any hailstorm or anything like that, but they just fall over, then that means the onion is ready to come out of the ground. And what you do is, like I showed earlier, this onion is very hard. But what you do is you lay it out. You don't do anything to it. You don't wash it or anything else. You lay it out and let it dry for about a week or two. Then this paper on the outside of the onion is going to turn brown. Once that turns brown, then you take your scissors and you cut these roots off, and then you cut the stem off right about here, like about an inch up. And then you look down into the stem, and if you see any green, that means it needs to dry for about another week. When you don't see green down in there anymore, then you can go ahead and cut the stem off, cut it off down here, and uh, you peel the brown paper back, and you have a beautiful white onion. Ah. Well, end of the world. They're using that, okay, because there was a police officer that was protecting his store, and he was shot in the head and killed, and he was black. So it's not a thing about Black Lives Matter. If it was, they wouldn't have shot him. I mean, that was a rioter that shot him. And there have been like 35 police officers that have been killed in these riots, and they were all black. And they were killed by blacks. So, what is the real reason for it? Now, just because, uh, what was his name? George Floyd, I think, just because he was killed by a rogue cop, a thug, um, does not give anyone the right to go out and torch a police station or torch a church or destroy anybody's property. Now, would George Floyd would he have wanted that to happen? I don't believe so. I really don't. No, no, Jessica, our army's not going to turn against us. I can assure you of that. And that's right, Adrian. Well, we need to turn the page on this before it gets too political, because I'm not. Well, there's a lot of fake things of all kinds reported by MSN. I mean, see, people don't buy a newspaper to read a story about a Boy Scout that just got his Eagle badge. They don't buy a newspaper to read that. they don't buy a newspaper to read um, uh, what little blind child had an operation and now they can see. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for blood and guts, and that's what sells newspapers: blood and guts. Well, that's a good question too. There's a lot about that. I mean, the guy had several drugs. I got this news. Um, I think it was on Fox Channel, but I don't remember correctly. Um, but supposedly he had fentanyl and some other drug in his body. That's George Floyd. And George Floyd and the police officer that killed him knew each other. They were both bouncers in a bar, and they worked different shifts. One worked day shift, the other one worked night shift. And this is a proven fact. And they had this thing going on between them, and I don't know what the argument was, whatever the case may be. So the cop that killed George Floyd didn't care. They had a grudge against each other. Oh, of course he did. That's why they let him work in a public bar as a bouncer. Okay, it depends, Brandon. What are you planting? You asked, should I plant in containers, raised garden beds, or in the ground? What are you going to be planting? Oh, you too, Adrian. God bless you, my friend, and thank you for coming on and sharing my channel out. I appreciate it. Brandon, tell me what you're going to plant. Okay, Jess, we'll be here. Um, okay, I believe that that question, how much room do you have, was probably meant for Brandon. Roses and tulips. I don't know, Brandon. I might put those in a raised bed. At least the roses, so you can keep a good eye on them. Keep them well pruned, well fed. Oh, very good, end of the world. I've never grown any tomatoes indoors, but it's got my curiosity. I might try it. Now you know that tomatoes are self-pollinating plants. You don't have to have any bugs pollinating them. Just go up with your finger and tickle uh, the little flower on the tomato plant, and just tweak it, and it'll pollinate itself. You hate tomatoes? Well, I'll tell you what, Miranda, you grow tomatoes and you send them to me. I'll take all that you can send. Yep, that's right. Tap the flowers. Or you can use an electric toothbrush. If you ever see one at a yard sale for 15 cents, pick it up, put batteries in it, and use it for pollinating your tomato and pepper plants. Oh, very good on the baby aloes. And Bonnie says keep the water from the rose leaves. I tried to propagate a rose. My wife got a real pretty rose bush, or not bush, but rose flower for my son for, I don't remember what it was, Mother's Day last year or something like that. And I took a clipping off it and I dipped it in honey and I stuck it in a potato like a YouTube channel told me to. And the end of the stem rotted off. I love cauliflower, Brandon. And how big are the plants end of the world? So there you have it, folks. Anybody looking for aloe plants, you can get the plants from Welcome to the End of the World YouTube channel. I like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all that kind of stuff. Little baby plants, okay. Oh, very good, Travis. What state are you located in, Travis? Washington State. Okay, very good, very good. Any of you folks uh, interested in aloe plants, get a hold of Travis there at Welcome to the End of the World YouTube channel. He's in Southeast uh, Washington State, and he sells them for $5 a plant, which is a very good price. It's more of a desert area. Okay, well, have you ever thought about trying to grow moringa trees? Because if you can grow aloe plants outside, then you should be able to grow the moringa trees outside with no problem at all. Oh, yes, sir, Travis, they're definitely priced to sell. And, an aloe plant is a lot more than just putting it on a sunburn. There's all kinds of different um, YouTube videos about different uses for the aloe plant. Okay, you're growing them indoors. Well, you can grow the moringa trees indoors too. I mean, look at some of my videos. Look at one of my harvest videos. And I'm down here in South Carolina. Okay, very good. They don't take a lot of water and they thrive in the desert. And the moringa trees will cure over 300 different diseases. And that's not just me saying that, that's a proven fact for over 5,000 years. They've been using it in India to cure over 300 different diseases, like heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, pancreatitis, diabetes, sickle cell anemia. Okay, I'll spell that for you here in the text if I can get my cursor down there. There you go. Yeah, I watch Paul. I watch all of their videos, Travis. And I'm sorry that I pooped on your feed. That's funny. And its complete scientific name is Moringa oleifera, and oleifera means oil-producing plant. Okay, very good, Travis. Now, do a Google search, just for the sake of curiosity. Do a Google search for Moringa oleifera research papers. And you'll come up with about 375,000 research papers from scientists and medical centers and doctors and everybody else trying to figure out how this plant does what it does. The plant originally comes from India, the foothills of the Himalaya mountains. That's where it was first found to be. And people say, well, if it'll cure diseases, why don't the doctor give it to you for cancer? Well, because he's not paid to. The tree of life, that's right. He's not paid to. He's paid to give you chemotherapy. He's not paid to give you anything else other than a pharmaceutically manufactured drug. He can be arrested and put in jail and lose his doctor's license. Moringa, then he's allowed to explain it to you. Ask Jessica. Jessica is a young lady in Georgia that has cancer, J-Dub, and she was at her one of her treatment days at the cancer center, and she told her doctor that she was taking Moringa, and he told her that Moringa was really good for her. So I don't know what the outcome of that may be. Okay, very good, Jess. Jess, do you still have that video of when you were videoing at the cancer center and the doctor told you that moringa was good for you? Do you have that like on your YouTube page or anything? Yeah, it is. And Jessica can tell you about J-Dub Vlogs can tell you all about that. She's been battling different cancer problems for many years. It's on my page. Um, do you remember what the title of it was? Because I don't know that I have any. No, it was a video where you were in videotaping when the doctor was talking to you and he asked you if you were sticking to your diet and you said yes, but I'm also taking moringa. I don't know that I have that video, Jess. Oh yeah, yeah. Anything that's going to work, they say, is expensive. You know, I mean, um, look up celery. You know, they'll tell you celery will cure anything, and they see what usually happens with the moringa trees. Different investors have invested in processing plants for moringa, and then they start a multi-level marketing thing like Amway. I'm sure you've heard of Amway in your past lifetime, but they build pyramids, you know, like uh, you buy a membership through them, and then you go to your family members and you get them to buy a membership under you, and then you get percentages of everything that they buy every month. And you have to call your mother up and say, Mom, I need you to spend another $200 this month on my products so that I can get money to make a payment on my car. You know, that really does it. Oh, Bonnie, I wish you wouldn't go away, Bonnie. Can you take me to lunch? Sure, you can take me to lunch. Just carry your cell phone with you. Well, not long, because I've already been on here for 2 hours. Um, and, you know, people don't like to sit around and watch a 2 hour video. And, you know, another thing about moringa, you'll hear people, they'll get on there and say, if you eat beets, that'll help lower your blood pressure. Another one will get on and say, if you eat carrots, that'll help lower your sugar level. Um, if you take this elixir right here, that'll help your digestion. Okay, so what do you got? You got 3 products here that you got to take care of 3 different ailments. When you can take Moringa, and it replaces all of them. You know, it'll lower your blood sugar, it'll lower your blood pressure, it'll clean out your gut, it'll clean out your liver. Well, you're quite welcome, Travis. You take milk thistle for your diabetes. Well, how has that affected your diabetes? What are the results diabetically that you've got? Type 2 diabetes, right? But what is how is the milk thistle and apple cider vinegar, how is that helping your diabetes? What has it physically done for you so far? Now, let me mention something right here at this point. I am not a doctor, and I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just telling you facts that I know from when I started taking Moringa. Okay, Moringa will do that also. Okay, well, do you check your blood every day? Your blood sugar levels with the meter? If so, what are the results on that? Has it brought your sugar levels down in the morning? That's right, Jess. It'll do that. It'll help your sugar levels. It brought my sugar level down from 120 in the morning down to about 60, 65 in the morning. And my blood pressure's down, and my arthritis is gone. Now, I used to get swelling in my feet and my legs from the knees down. Well, you need to check it every morning. Okay, but you need to check it first thing every morning before you eat or drink anything. And that will tell you what your true sugar level is, uh, and keep track of it, because that's after fasting all night long. It'll tell you what your true sugar level is. Or like 2 hours after a meal, something like that. Yep. Very good, Jess. Very good. Um, Good evening, Debbie from Tennessee. How are you, my friend? Um, Jess, we just no. I got I got 1,000 seeds for $9 off of Amazon, and I think it was maybe like $1 or $2 for the shipping. Okay, what does that do, Jess? Graviola. Yeah, see, I mean, you know, we could get $25 a seed for the moringa seeds if we wanted to. Well, it just kind of. Oh, good evening, Nikki. I will tell her hi. She's already gone to bed. Um, and I'm on because I just keep rambling on and on and on. I don't know when to shut up. Well, Jess, that pure graviola, that can't be doing much because the moringa plant has been deemed the super plant of the world, superfood. I mean, it'll cure blindness. Um, you know, um, well, if the fruit sells at $500, I'm sure I couldn't afford a seed. But I can pull up. I can pull up a screen here and show you something, and I will check into that for you, Jess. Let me see. Well, oh, I got to do this. No, how did I mess it up? Just a minute, folks. I have a. Okay. Let me get down here. I don't remember how many pages it was. Okay, here you go. Here are just some. Let me reduce the size of this a little. Yeah, a little more. There we go. That's just one page listing the things that Moringa will cure. Now, where did it go? Is it still on there? No. Okay. I think it's here now. Let's see. These first 30 or so, those are things that it's used for, like nutrition, disease prevention, ointment, alley cropping, fertilizer, erosion control, water purification, cosmetics, textile printing, insecticide, fungicide, lubricants, tanning leather, dye, fiber products, fences, ornamentation and shade, wind barrier, cane juice clarifier, honey production, condiment, cooking oil, honey clarifier, and food. Now, Some of the things that it cures: anemia, anxiety, asthma, blackheads, blood impurities, blood pressure, bronchitis, caplar, whatever that is, chest congestion, cholera, colitis, conjunctivitis, cough, diabetes, diarrhea, dropsy, dysentery, eye and ear infections, fever, glandular swelling, gonorrhea, headaches, hysteria, intestinal worms, jaundice, lactation, malaria, pain in the joints, pimples, pregnancy, psoriasis, respiratory disorders, scurvy, semen deficiency, skin infections, sore throat, sores, sprains, stomach ulcers, tuberculosis, tumors, urinary disorders, and wounds. Now, those are just some, not all, those are just some of the um, those are just some of the things that it can be used for and things that it can cure. Yeah, well, that figures, Jess. Somebody's got them, and they're hoarding them because the price isn't high enough for them yet. Let's see. Well, I hope I just didn't screw something up here. Let me see. I got to add that to my share screen. Share screen. Application window. There we are. Okay. Now I was just reading you a list of things, and I don't think it came up before, but I have it up now. Okay, I'll look that up for you, Jess, but I can't do it while I'm doing this. I don't think I can anyway. But there's a list that no, that ain't gonna let me do that. There's a list of the different things. I think I can bring. Whoops. It didn't move the page down. It moved my whole presentation. There we go. Well, Okay. You have to be aware, Jessica, that the word pure is just a, a sales gimmick word. Okay. Um, Moringa is pure also. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. Let me get rid of this screen. Okay. Now, this is a Moringa capsule right here. This is 100% Moringa, no fillers. Okay. But if you go to the store, you're going to buy a bottle of pure Moringa powder. Turn it over and look at the back where it says ingredients, and it'll probably say Moringa powder and rice, or Moringa powder and silica. Those are the two things that I've seen. Well, the rice and the silica are nothing but fillers. Okay, pure Moringa. Okay, what that means is the one little teeny speck of Moringa that's in here is pure. They don't say it's only Moringa. They say it's pure. The one little teeny microscopic speck of Moringa that's in there is pure Moringa, but the rest of it is silica or rice. Be very careful when you look at these packages. I had a package in here one time. It must be out near the room. But silica, in case you're not familiar with it, is sand. Okay? Now you want to take a whole pill, 500 milligram pill filled with sand. Why don't you just go out and eat the dirt out of your garden? It'd give you about the same reaction as eating sand. Oh, that's okay, Nikki. No problem at all. You didn't come in too fast. Okay. Magnesium stearate. I don't know why they put that in there. Vegetable cellulose. That's vegetable fibers. Don't know why they put that in there. And silica, which is sand. I would take it back. Does it say pure Moringa powder on the outside of the package? And you know, cellulose is wood fiber. So it's a vegetable fiber. I would take it back to the store and say, you are not giving me 100% Moringa. You're giving me sand and vegetable fiber and magnesium. No, it doesn't say pure. Okay. Um, uh, Hang on. Let me go see if I can grab my package here real quick, and I'll be right back. Give me a second, folks. I got to make a couple cigarettes real fast, and I'll be right back. Also have to take a trip down the hall. Take a trip and never leave the farm. Okay. I hope nobody dropped out here. I'm back now. Uh, okay. Now, what I have here, I'm not going to show the brand name. It says organic vegetable powder because moringa is a vegetable. Now, it's a green superfood. Now, if you look on the back of this package, same package now, ingredients. Where's my finger in the way? Okay. Ingredients. Gosh, you can't see it. Right there. Ingredients. It says, let me read it here. Organic moringa leaf powder. Period. It doesn't say powder with rice or powder with silica or powder with any stearates. Just moringa leaf powder. Period. Then you know you're getting the real moringa leaf powder. Anything else is a fake. And I'll tell you where I got this from. I got this from a health food store. Okay. And it's Cooley is the brand name. I am not advertising for them. I'm just informing you the name of the powder that I took. Now, this costs $19 for this bag, and this bag is 7.4 ounces for $19. Now, I'll tell you something. I just bought 1 kilo of the pure moringa leaf that I'm going to make powder out of myself. Now, 1 kilo is 2.025 pounds. So I can make a whole bunch of moringa powder out of that. And the way you make the moringa powder is you take the dried moringa leaf, stick it in a blender, and hit that hide button and tell it to puree and give it about a minute. Let it chew that stuff up and then run it through a tea strainer, get it real fine, and you are good to go. I prefer the leaves, Jess, because what I do is when I first started using moringa, I used my own moringa leaf powder, and not powder. It was just the ground up leaf. Okay, 2 little baby spoons, this size right here, and that's 2 little spoons each morning. Drop it in your mouth, chew it a little bit, and then wash it down with a cup of coffee. Okay, and what it did for me was it took I have type 2 diabetes and arthritis. It took all the swelling out of my legs and feet, made it all going away, and that was from the diabetes. It brought my blood sugar down. It brought my blood pressure down, and it basically, took my arthritis away. I don't have any pains now at all, none whatsoever from arthritis, because it's packed with anti-inflammatory properties and antioxidant properties. It's packed with that stuff, and it will definitely help. you can grow a tree, Jess. All you got to do is you get your little flower pot, sneak outside, and grab you some dirt out of the yard. If you want to call it soil, call it soil. My mom didn't, yell at me and spank me because I got soil on my clothes all the time. It was dirt. Anyway, throw it in a pot and put your seed in there. Keep the water moist, and probably within 7 days, you'll see a tree come up out of the middle of your flower pot. Just let it grow. Just water it every once in a while, and put it in a window where it can get plenty of sun. Just let it grow. And then when it starts growing, just pull the leaves off it. Eat the leaves. You can eat the leaves, fresh green. It doesn't have to be made into a powder. You can take the leaves and put them in a salad and eat it just like any other salad greens. But I'm going to do something here. I'm going to see if I can multitask, because I did not make any cigarettes yet, and I'm about to die every time I'm picking a cigarette. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you folks in my kitchen with me, and I'm going to sit there and talk to you while I'm making a couple cigarettes. How about that? Yeah, we can do that, certainly. And we'll come around here. A lot of people, when the virus scare first came out, a lot of people were saying, "Hey, we can't find toilet paper. We can't find toilet paper." I found all kinds of toilet paper at Walmart. Just go in the restroom. They got them great big rolls, What you do is you sit there and you pull all the paper off, fold it up, and stuff it in your shirt pocket, and go home, and that gives you enough for at least one time. That's just a joke. Don't do that, folks. But, forgot one thing. Gotta get my box of papers here. Okay. If you hear a funny noise, it's my cigarette machine. I do not promote or condone smoking, okay? But I got hooked on nicotine 56 years ago. And I do not have the willpower to quit. I have tried many, many times. Even when the doctor told me, if you don't quit smoking, you're going to die before your time. Well, I already died once before my time. I was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital after being suffocated with chlorine gas. And here I am. And that was 24. I was 24 years old then, and I'm 70 years old now. But someplace around the house, I actually have my voided out death certificate. Yeah, I know, Jess. I think it's just a thing to get rid of the small business people so that the big dogs can get all the money. And I don't know. It's funny how gasoline went down to $1.39 a gallon, isn't it? Huh? Isn't that funny? Well, it's starting to go back up in South Carolina. But the thing they don't know is it's against the law for it to go up in South Carolina, because South Carolina is under a state of emergency. And That's called price gouging, and the gas stations can be sued for it. We're way upstate from the state capitol, and I don't think the government, the governor's office knows that they're jacking the price up on gas up here when it's illegal, but we'll find out pretty soon. Oh yeah, they will. I mean, they quit selling seeds so they can jack the price up on them. They quit selling them because they got to reprint all of these packages that say 50 cents. They're probably going to go up to $3 a pack. You know, they don't want these 50-cent packages on the shelf anymore because they know how short the food supply is. So they're going to jack those things up so you're paying $1 per carrot or something. But we're all set because we got lots of seeds. Oh, I know. There's a lot more to come, Jess. This isn't just a passing fad, you know. I mean, like they eased up on little things. They eased up on some things, like just for an example, if you're in a crowd of people, you can only, like, first they come out and said 10 people, no more than 10 people in a group. Now I think it's down to about 6 people in a group. Well, they say that this virus is supposed to come back in the fall. They know they can control you to keep you down to 4 people in a group and 6 feet apart. Well, personally, I don't like that because my bed is only 4 foot wide. So that means my wife gets to sleep on the bed and I have to sleep on the floor next to the bed because it's not 6 feet wide. That's a joke, Jess. But let's see. Yeah, coming down. If they come down with something, they can't blame the job. Well, then protect them from it. You know. Well, I'll tell you, Travis. I'm an amateur radio operator. Okay, a ham radio operator, and I'm familiar with 5G. We've been working with 5G for years. That's just a microwave frequency, basically, is all that is. And the only way it's going to hurt you is if you illegally climb a radio tower and intentionally sit in front of the antenna, because 5G only goes about 1/4 of a mile at the most. That's 5 gigahertz is what the G stands for. And everybody's going crazy about it. Have you ever had a CB radio walkie-talkie that says it'll give you up to 2 miles? So you go out with one of your kids or one of your buddies and you try it. No. 5G is not 600 gigahertz. The G is gigahertz. So it's 5 gigahertz, not 600 gigahertz. It's 5 gigahertz. Okay? That needs to be understood to start with, Travis. It's 5 gigahertz, not 600 gigahertz. See, that's where people are getting the wrong information. And I don't know if it's coming from oh, Jess. Stop at a hot spot and go in and get their paper. You know, it's free if you unroll it off the roll. And they got big rolls, you know. The whole neighborhood could go in and steal it and they never know it. You shouldn't have to go all the way town to shop for stuff like, all the way to the other side of town to shop for stuff like that. I mean, you know, but one thing you have to be careful of though is, we ran into this, is some of the paper, it's so thin you can see through it. I mean, it basically, you're barely using paper. But, you know, they're just, the powers to be are just practicing to see what they can get away with, who's going to bow down to them, and who is going to object to them. And the people that are objecting will be labeled like, oh, he's a militiaman, he's a terrorist, all this kind of stuff. I got a bit of information here for you. Something I've been thinking about for years, and I've never heard anybody talk about it. But you remember the person that blew up the building out there in Kansas City? I guess it was the federal building, Murrah building. He didn't live very long after that, did he? They rushed him into court, found him guilty, and executed him. I'm 70 years old. That is the fastest execution I have ever seen in 70 years. Seen or heard of. And it's like this. He knew something that the government did not want to get out. Somebody was paid. Now, I don't know if he did it or not, and I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying that it's awful strange that Timothy McVeigh was found guilty and immediately executed. Well, gee, you know, didn't he get to appeal? You know, most people that are found guilty and put in prison, they appeal their sentence to go back and say, hey, this was wrong in court or that was wrong in court. Not Timothy McVeigh. When they found him guilty, they rushed him right to the penitentiary and killed him. Think about that. What if he knew something we didn't know? What if he knew what was really going on and they were afraid he was going to spill his guts? It makes you wonder. We'll never know. We'll never know. But anyway, let me get back here. I moved locations. Yes, I did. I brought my laptop out here to the kitchen so that I could sit here and make cigarettes with my little cigarette machine. Yeah, that's true, Debbie, that the price of dairy and meat has gone up. And, that's because, like, if you've seen some of the news articles that I've seen, they're at farms draining the milk out on the ground because they can't get trucks to come and pick it up because the drivers aren't going to drive because of the COVID-19 virus. And you can't store that raw milk. That has to be processed. And if they can't take it to the processing plant, they need to get it out of their equipment anyway, so it doesn't destroy their equipment. Okay, let me ask you this. 5 let's see, how can I say this? 5 gigahertz can't go to 60 gigahertz. 5 gigahertz is 5 gigahertz. Let's just take this as an example here. Channel 4 on your TV set. What other channel is Channel 4 on? Channel 4 is only on one TV channel, Channel 4. And Channel 4 has a specific frequency. You can't turn around to channel 237 and see Channel 4 on it because that's a different frequency. 5 gigahertz is 5 gigahertz. It's not 600 gigahertz, it's 5 gigahertz. That's like saying your kitchen light, it's 110 volts, but it's also 7,200 volts. No, it's not. It's 120 volts, period. End of story. It's a 120 volt light bulb. Five gigahertz is, and the radio spectrum, if you look up radio spectrum chart, then you'll see the whole radio spectrum, from CB radio to AM radio through to FM radio to police radio to airport radios, truckers radios, and right on through. Well, let's say, for example, you look at 5 gigahertz. That's way up here. Well, my hands are going opposite on the camera, but it's way up here in the spectrum. Okay, 600 gigahertz is way far away from. It's actually 595 gigahertz away from 5 gigahertz. So, there's a lot of people that say things like this when they really aren't sure what they're talking about. And I'm here to tell you that I guarantee you every one of them is a monetized channel. They're playing commercials on their channel, or YouTube is, so that they can give money to that particular channel for click-throughs and stuff like this. Um, Pay a little closer attention to the people that are not advertising on their channel. They're the ones that are probably telling you the truth. Hey, go look at Joe Baloney's channel here. He's talking about the military is going to be dropping paratroopers in our town next week. Okay, so everybody runs to his channel to hear all that information. And he's getting all these clicks for all these commercials. He don't care that he's lying. He's just bait and switch kind of thing, you know? You see an ad in a newspaper, antique Corvette, $30. Mint condition, $30. And then you get there, and sure enough, there was an antique Corvette there, but it was sold 25 years ago, you know, for $30 to a junkyard. But everybody's going to run to that channel to see what the guy's got. And, you know, you don't have to click on the ads on somebody's YouTube channel. If you're watching their channel and an ad comes on, that's considered you clicked on it. He gets paid for that. That's a crooked way to operate. Well, go in there and ask him how one frequency can actually be a different frequency, 595 gigahertz away from its original frequency. The FCC doesn't even allow that. I mean, with our radios, we're limited to how much interference our radio can cause, and it's 0% interference. You know, I built a commercial radio station, FM radio station, for a community, and there were all kinds of engineering data that we had to provide. You know, I can't explain it all to you in just these few minutes, or even in a couple hours, because it took me a long time to learn it from my mentors. Yeah, Jess, go ahead. What you got? Oh, there you go. There you go. You can't even buy a pack of cigarettes for that. $2.83 a month. Well, just the reason there are so many 5G towers in your block is because it doesn't go far. They have to put all these towers all over the place, you know, to be able to so that a police car or like a cab or an ambulance or a fire truck, so when they go down the street and they get out of range of the tower that's next to your house, they will come into range at another tower that's in the next block. And that's how that works. It's just like what are these crazy phones? Just like a cell phone. When you're driving down the interstate, you're not talking off the same tower that was in front of your house. When you get in your car at home, you dial your friend up on the phone and you're talking to him, and you're driving to South Carolina, you're not talking on that tower that was in your neighborhood. It has passed you off to different towers all the way up the interstate. There you go, Jess. YouTube doesn't pay you unless you make $100 a month. Well, if they put in something larger than 5 gigahertz, then they probably have to have a tower in front of everybody's house. When you get higher up in frequency, the range gets shorter. And I'll tell you what, Travis, go to the FCC website and put in the name of your Wi-Fi or your cell phone company, and look at the applications that'll actually have light poles or 5G. What's 5G about a light pole? Yeah, I know that, Debbie. Um, your new light pole is 5G. No, no, no. I have those LED lights in my front yard. I have two of them, one at the front of my house and one at the back of my house. And they're the brightest lights you've ever seen. And they run thing. That's that's like saying you're out driving down the street in your car and you run out of gas. So you get on your cell phone and you call mom and say, "Mom, would you turn the water on in the kitchen sink because I just ran out of gas and I got to get home." They're two totally separate, unrelated things. Light is one thing, radio frequency is another. No, I'll tell you, Travis, the reason he doesn't want you to videotape him is probably because he was not using the proper safety equipment that he's required to use when he's putting the pole up. And he didn't want you to videotape him and then show it to his safety man, or he would have been fired. And I can prove that because I used to work for the phone company and they used to do that to us all the time. And there's nothing, how does that light pole light up? I mean, are there lights inside the pole? How can a wooden pole or a metal pole, how do you plug that into a wall? What's the purpose of plugging in a pole to a wall? Oh, yeah, you're going to hear everything. There you go, Jess, you got it. They just want to sell new phones and new laptops and all that. I don't know whether you noticed it or not, but Microsoft doesn't support Windows 7 anymore. They said it's obsolete. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what you do. If you ever want to go out someplace and you don't want the camera to see you, just get your little laser pen, a little laser light, and shine it at the camera. That's all you got to do. It'll shut the camera off. Of course, the camera's going to come back on after you turn your light off, but oh, now, how are they going to track my television set? And no, nobody can see me through my television set. Smart TV, yeah. Well, there's a lot more to broadcasting TV. If you're on a cable and there's a camera on your TV, if that television set turns on your camera, it's going to show it to everybody that has cable TV. It's not just going to send it to one person. It's going to send it to everybody that has cable TV. That's basically what it is, Debbie. Everybody's paranoid. And your television does not have a transmitter in it, period. And if the news is telling you about the whatever you want to call it, camera in your TV showing everybody in town your picture, and you're watching CNN, and I'm going to work my way back into my room back here so I can be by my coffee cup. Now, here we go, around in a circle. Oh, look here. We have toilet paper all over the place. When everybody was saying, oh no, Walmart doesn't have any more toilet paper. Oh no, what are we going to do? Well, the Dollar Tree store, that was about 500 feet away from Walmart, had shelves full of toilet paper. Just nobody was going to Dollar Tree, Oh, yes. Yes, Debbie, that is true. And I got a sample of that. We were installing some radios in the 911 center down in Georgia. And what town was that in? That was in Conyers, Georgia. And okay, very good, Travis. You have a good evening, my friend. God bless you, and don't let it scare you to death. Don't worry about it until they knock on your door and they've got the hypodermic needle in their hand. Then panic. Okay. Until then, don't believe what you hear. Yeah, Debbie, I was at the 911 center in Conyers, Georgia. We were installing some police radios in there, and um, the administrator asked us if we would be interested in seeing the actual room where the 911 operators were. We said, heck yeah. So we walk in, and uh, he says, be kind of quiet because they may be, they may have an emergency that you're talking about on the phone. Okay. So we go in. Well, fortunately, there were two 911 operators. Neither one of them was talking on the phone. And one of them says, "Come here, I want to show you something." I said, "Okay." She says, she's showing us different screens, like maps around the town and stuff like this, uh, where they can actually see where one of their cars is through GPS. And she says, "If you got a cell phone?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Dial 911." And I said, "Okay." So I dialed the number, and she immediately answered. And she says, "Now look at this." She changed to a different screen, and there was a map of probably about, I don't know, a quarter of a mile around that building. And it showed me right in the center of that map, standing in the center of that building. And she says, "Okay, now take the phone outside and set it outside on the sidewalk." I said, "Okay." So I went outside, put it on the sidewalk, came back in, and she says, "Look, your phone moved, didn't it? It shows your phone laying around the sidewalk." That was amazing to me, but it's all through GPS, and everybody has their GPS turned on. I mean, you can turn it off if you want to. Okay. They can see you with your phone turned off. No, they can't. Oh, what was it that happened, Jess? Yeah, well, President Trump doesn't like how they control what you say either. And um, in the past few days, he's been talking with Google and these other places, and he's fixing to get that stuff stopped. You were told a creator was known, which obviously they truly weren't. Some bad things occurred to where I fell back for a little while. Police are involved. Well, that doesn't tell me anything, Jess. That's like there's a YouTube channel where this guy and this girl are giving the news, and he comes on and he says, and I could tell you where I got this information from, but if I did, then I know the National Security Agency or the CIA would kill me if I told you. And I can't tell you who told me this because that would put their life in danger. And then he comes out and tells you something about somebody's dog got run over or some stupid thing like that. And he's just trying to build up, I don't know, build up people's fears or something. I'm not really sure. Um, oh wow, Jess, I just got your message. Um, wow. Um, did they give you any reason why, Jess? Did they have all the proper paperwork to do that? Oh, you pissed somebody off, didn't you? That's cruel. It really is. Now they should have a number from the person that called you. While a false police report is a crime in all the states that I know of. Oh, well, that's interesting, Jess, that you say that. Do you know his name? Don't put it on the screen, but do you know his name? Okay. Um, there is I think it's a YouTube channel, but I know it's a website, Stolen Valor. Contact that guy, and he will definitely take care of that. Because what he does is he investigates people that, they're going around the bars saying, yeah, I'm a Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL. Well, he has a list, or he has access to a database where he can check anybody for their military records. And if this guy says he was a Marine and he wasn't, that's considered stolen valor. He'd go to prison for a long time for that. Yeah, well, the VA would be interested in it for the stolen valor type of information. Well, good evening, Zach Johnson. Happy Friday to you also, my friend. Well, there's no such thing as someone won't stop. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of ways to get people to stop. If he's using a cell phone, you just contact his cell phone provider and tell them. I'm just surprised nobody has done that yet. You can report them to the FCC for uh, uh, harassing phone calls. There's a lot of things that can be done. Oh, excellent. Excellent, Zach, and the new iPad. I'll bet you are excited. iPads are neat. Well, if they have a lot of documentation, it should have already been stopped. Okay, Zach, well, you tell your mom I said hello, and uh, we'll talk to her next time she comes on. Oh, very good. Trust in Jesus, beloved. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you coming to our channel. Yep, Travis was on a while ago, and I don't know, he probably had to get some early sleep tonight, I guess. I don't know. And Jessica just waved to trust in Jesus, beloved. Oh, Travis is your husband. Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, I'm about to call it a night here myself. I've been on 3 hours and 20 minutes. I know nobody's going to watch a 3 hour and 20-minute video. But YouTube says um, they recommend a video, if you're going to make a video for your channel, to make it more than 10 minutes long. Good night, Mrs. Travis. Exactly, Debbie. I agree with you there. You know, they showed a thing at some water park. I don't remember where it was, but there were hundreds and hundreds of people there. No, Jess. Um, what you do? Oh, yes, there is. There's a program that you need. Let me go look at the name of it. Um, hang on one second. I'm going off screen here. Uh, okay. I spelled it wrong. Got to make my correction here. Um, okay, I'll do that for you, Zach. I'll go live on YouTube tomorrow night. You're welcome, Jess. And what you do is you download that file, and when you get on a YouTube channel and you want to download the video, um, then what you do is you put your cursor up in the address bar of when you're watching the video. You right click on it, and it's going to give you a drop down menu. Then you click on the word copy. Okay, it's going to copy the URL of the video. Then you go to your 4K video download program, and up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you I don't have it open right now, but it'll say paste URL here or something like that. You just hit that button and it automatically puts that URL in the program, and it will automatically start that video downloading. And it's real easy and simple. It'll ask you, when you first start, it'll ask you what directory you want the file saved in. That's correct. Yep. That's how I copy all my YouTube videos. And it'll show you the progress of the download also. And it's a free program. See, YouTube used to have a download button where you could automatically download the video. Just click on the button under the video and it'll let you download it. And then they did away with that. But then somebody came out with a video, the 4K video downloader program. So now you can download them. Anyways, folks, I guess it's just me and you on here, Jess. So I'll say God bless you, my friend. Tell your mom I said hi. I hope she's doing okay. And we'll talk to you folks later. I'll wait for a minute to see if, okay, good night, Zach. God bless you, my friend. I'm going to bed too, Zach. And good night, Jess. And good night, Debbie. God bless you too. Okay, I'm going to do a countdown here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good night, folks. My time here, it's 1:05 in the morning, Saturday morning, Zach. And I've been on 3 hours and 26 minutes. So good night. I'm closing the program right now.